First thing I want to do is thank the other commissioners for joining with me to pass the Stop Homeless Crime Initiative Part 1. And that's the new law in the town of Pahrump that says no more homeless camps, no more tents, no more cooking equipment, no more personal items in public areas. And there's some other things in there as well. But I want to make a quick point before I show you the video that this bill became stronger because of the input from other commissioners during the meeting. So now we have a better law because of it. So make sure that you thank your commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is part of our overall effort to stop homeless crime. This ordinance will stop camping on public lands and public areas. This ordinance will allow us to clean up camps and tents and garbage on public areas. This ordinance will stop obstruction of sidewalks in public areas with camping gear and personal belongings and people setting up to sleep in public areas. I had copied this from the Clark County Code, where it was enacted after the Supreme Court of the United States made it permissible for local jurisdictions to ban camping in public places. Our district attorney's office has been kind enough to go over this, make some revisions. I'd like to thank them. And what we have before us today, Mr. Chairman, is a vote in this vote would be a product of all of that. So I urge my colleagues on this board for passage, and I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
As some members of the public have said, this has been going on forever and it's probably going to keep going on forever, unfortunately. But one of the problems we have, I think, and the sheriff spoke on this a few meetings ago, is if the guy's laying on the sidewalk in front of Albertsons, you call the cops and you want the guy to get moved, he really doesn't have anything to move him. So this will allow that to happen.
If we went to page 5 and 6 of what Commissioner has put together as backup, I have one concern that I would appreciate his consideration for a change, is on page 6 at the top under number 2, directing the person engaged.
Can you give us just a second? These
Sure.
pages aren't numbered, so I would invite each one of the commissioners to number the pages now, because I'll put you in the same position, please.
Thank you. And it's under enforcement 25-5. Let me know when you're ready, please.
I'm ready, thank you. How are you doing, Commissioners?
Good, I'm good.
And I'll turn this back to the chair, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. So on page 6, under number 2, directing the person engaged in a prohibited conduct that they have 24 hours to vacate the location, I am opposed to. This may be part of a template, and I again appreciate this coming forward. But I believe that if law enforcement is called to a scene and they are engaged in conversation with somebody or plural, they need to move immediately, not 24 hours later, where the deputies have to, and it would probably be a different deputy or plural, returning to the same scene for the same situation. And I base this on if there were any trespassing under NRS 207-200, under the trespass law, they must leave the premises. If they return, at that time is when law enforcement would be able to take action for them violating the trespass rule and law. So this was my only change of consideration, please, is that it's done immediately and not 24 hours later.
Mr. Chairman, may I address, or may I?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I would like to ask if the DA would be willing to answer if it would be permissible to strike Section 25.5A2 if he saw any legal concerns.
Just be changed to immediately.
My concern is that the way this is written, they have to kind of put on notice that they're in violation. So I think actually the suggestion from the commissioner, as far as if you want them to move immediately, if they don't move immediately, then they would be in violation. But without some type of a time period in there, you're not going to be able to define that they're in violation.
Can I try this?
Actually, real quick, Mr. Dia, could you shorten it to 3 hours, 4 hours? Is there a time period or 1 hour?
Wait a minute.
Sorry, Commissioner, go ahead. I yield to.
Direct the person engaged in the prohibited conduct that they need to vacate the location immediately.
That unfortunately is too ambiguous. Criminal provisions need to be very specific.
So
I
you don't
think-
like immediately?
1 hour?
Well, you said need. Must?
Must.
Okay.
All right, must. So now it's direct the person engaged in the prohibitive conduct that they must vacate the location immediately.
That would work.
Like that?
Yes.
Okay, we got one.
What do you think, Commissioner Bayne?
I think we said more than that.
Bruce, does that satisfy your thoughts?
That's fine. I'm perfectly satisfied, and this is Commissioner Bayne's item. If he's satisfied, we can move on.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, if this is acceptable for the district attorney, I am all for it, and I'll made a note of it here and under the motion.
Thank you.
Cool, thank
Thank you, sir.
I have some simple changes. Let's go to page number 4. The word tarps under temporary shelter is used twice. We only need it once. That's clerical.
Where was that at?
We're on page 4. Top of the page says personal property means an item that is. Within the body, mid-page, it says temporary shelter, meaning tents, tarps, huts, lean-tos, tarps, cardboard boxes. We need to eliminate one of the tarps. Too many tarps.
Too many tarps.
Where is it? I'm sorry. What was the section number?
Oh,
25. What was the section?
Just above 25.3, camping prohibits temporary shelter.
Thank you, Madam. Mr. G, I don't think that has any legal effect, is it?
No. And finally, this one's kind of different. As you know, we are conducting a joint meeting as the governing body of the unincorporated town of Pahrump, and we're looking at a document that is a Pahrump town ordinance. So within the body of this, on page 6, you don't need to turn there, it says under B4, the conduct is in conformity with the conditions of a permit issued by the town of Pahrump, and then it says again under section 25.3, camping, B, it also says, should the special events camp or temporary shelter violate any terms set forward by the permit issued by the town of Pahrump? And then it says under, this is where you would want to turn, page 4, 25.3, camping, under B, exceptions, under 2, it says the board may issue a special events permit. And then if you turn to the definitions of board, which is on page 3, under definitions, it said board means the Nye County Board of County Commissioners. I believe that is incorrect. That board would need to be the unincorporated town of Pahrump. That is my suggestion, as it is town, and for some reason we got Nye County Board of County Commissioners in here.
Mr.
And with
DA, what's your thoughts on that?
That would be accurate.
All right, that's my only changes.
Where is, I apologize for the interruption. What was the section? I got lost in.
25.2 under definitions is the only thing that I see that needs to change to be consistent. Under the definition of board means the Nye County Board of County Commissioners, when in fact it should read the unincorporated
Town of
town of Pahrump, or just
Shouldn't-
town of Pahrump.
Shouldn't it be the Nye County Board of
Mr.
County?
Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, manager.
Hey, we know that.
So I think that the way it is written is correct,
Okay,
because I think it's referring to an event that would allow camping in the park, which event permits are issued by the county commissioners.
okay, so then our inconsistency would be this. The inconsistency would be on page 4, which I read, that said, the board shall issue a special events permit. You would be correct. The board would be issuing the special events permit, being the Board of County Commissioners. But then in 2 other spaces, it says, by the permit issued by the town, a permit issued by the town. So do you need to change one or the other?
Or Town of Pahrump or Nye County, it says.
Would be a simple fix to define board, the Nye County Board of County Commissioners
Acting as.
acting as I stated.
Madam, yield for a moment. Would you mind, Commissioner? Thank you. Mr. DA, would it be acceptable to change the language to anytime it refers to board, that the board will be either the town board or the county board, whichever is permissible in the current circumstance?
We would need to incorporate that into the definition of board then.
On 25-2.
Yeah.
That would solve the problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, Madam.
You good with
Excuse me,
that?
You just
Chair.
put an or the Board of
Hold
County
on, somebody's
Commissioners.
talking. Who is it?
Thank you, Chair. This is Sam in Tonopah. I was hoping that Commissioner Strickland could identify the sections and subsections where she's referring to the town as issuing a permit, because we might be talking about 2 separate things here. One is that permitted overnight camping, such as an event like the powwow or others, where the town would issue a permit to camp there, as well as the county issuing an outdoor festival permit. So there's 2 different things we might be talking about here.
I so agree, Sam. And then once again, I'll state, I would like to see the change, the Nye County Board of County Commissioners acting as the governing unincorporated town of Pahrump. Or should that be an or? Because see, they are both acting at the same time, whether it be the Board of County Commissioners in a large event permit or the town of Pahrump in a small events permit.
That's why I'm recommending that just, leave it, the board means the Nye County Board of County Commissioners or
From town board.
the board,
The
the
town of
town
Pahrump.
board.
If you would yield very quick, here's another reason for this, and I but a little bit when I'm writing this. I always look to the future. Someone could change that rule. So in 5 years, someone could decide that some other entity is going to issue these. And if we write it as such, as the DA recommended, then we're covering ourselves in the event that something else changes. And this is why our state law is so sloppy, because they'll change one thing and they won't change it somewhere else. So I think that if we do that, I believe, and as long as the commissioners finds that acceptable, we could just change the definitions to be whichever is applicable, either town board, county board, or other. I would even put or other government entity, which with the authority. That's what I would do.
You could just put you could just put applicable board. And then let them figure it out. I mean, because if Tom succeeds with what he's trying to do, you're going to have a different board issuing permits than what we have today, so.
Would Samantha Tackett
Yes, Commissioner.
and DA and Chair or Commissioner, would we be satisfied that the DA's office could clean this up to our satisfaction and take into consideration all things that have been discussed at this point?
No, we need to have clarity.
Specifically, we would say,
Where is that menu?
county commissioner and. Would that satisfy Sam?
No, I would not say and, I would say or.
Or, excuse me.
So, basically say Nye County Board of County Commissioners or the.
Town of Pahrump.
Yeah.
Could we say the governing body of the town of Pahrump?
Yes.
Because that is
Yeah.
what the commissioners are.
I think that's, I
And
agree.
that's what I said.
Yes.
Originally. Thank you. And you're happy with that? Excuse me,
Yes, ma'am.
everybody? Thank you. Thank you for that.
These changes need to be incorporated in a motion if there is.
I can make.
I will, as soon as you let me.
Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Could I make one comment that I just want to make sure that everybody's clear that, I understand of course, this comes from Nye County, from Clark County. But I just want to make sure that they're clear here on the enforcement part. It talks about, citations or arrests may be issued by an authorized person. When you look at the definition of an authorized person, it includes people who are not peace officers. They cannot arrest anybody. So
Can you direct us to that, please? I'm sorry.
yeah, it's on page 6. It would be section 25.5, subparagraph 3. Talks about that if the person leaves, then they can issue a citation. It says arrest or citation pursuant to this chapter. And when you look back at authorized officer on page 3, definition 25.2 says an authorized officer means any peace officer, fire inspector, code compliance officer, or other officers, inspectors, and employees. The only people in there who have the right to arrest somebody would be the sheriff's office, a peace officer. And so I just, I'm a little concerned about the language that talks about anybody, an authorized person can issue a citation or an arrest. We need to be very clear that that's not giving a grant to people that don't have the powers of a peace officer. And I'm afraid that some people may think that they might have that authority. I'm not sure how we really fix it, but that is a concern of mine.
So how would you incorporate that into the commissioner's motion when he's ready?
DA,
Yes.
or through the chair.
Yes.
I mean, I think what's being implied is that, a co-compliance or park ranger or whatever has the authority to do one of these things. I don't think it's saying that the authorized person has all the authorities, because it has a peace officer in there and it has other individuals. But I don't necessarily think it's giving permission for any of those in that definition to be able to carry out all of these different options here, meaning the arrest, the citation, and all that. So I don't know.
Well, unfortunately, I have to disagree. I have to disagree from a
up.
legal standpoint, because when you have a provision that says that any authorized person can arrest somebody, and they fit under the definition of an authorized person, that means they can arrest somebody. But here's my suggestion: is what we do is add to the 25-5(3) is as authorized by law.
Mr. DA, I'm sorry, 25, whereby authorized by law? Where did you want that? I'm sorry.
Under subparagraph A3,
25.5A3.
at the very end of it, says as authorized.
I wanted to strike that whole thing. Can we remove that and just put 25.5.3? Standby. 25.5.3. If a person, I would like to, if we strike 25.5A3, do you still have concern, Mr. DA?
No.
Okay. I'd like to strike that.
All right.
Thank you both.
Excuse me, through the chair.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
With all due respect, that may be defeating the purpose. If we can go back to 25.2 under definitions, Mr. DA, would it be acceptable to put authorized under definition? Authorized officer means peace officer. We end it there, and we keep not striking number 3 as suggested.
I agree. I hope he does.
I do not, but I will. I am happy to move the definition, to change the definition if it makes everyone more comfortable.
You wanted to strike.
To strike anything after peace officer to the end of the sentence on 25.2 definitions, authorized officers, correct?
Okay.
Only the other individuals or positions that are named after peace officer to be stricken from this record here under definitions with the enforcement of the town of Pahrump ordinances.
Yes. Well, if you do that, I mean, a peace officer is charged with the enforcement of the town, so it really is unnecessary. A peace officer is charged with, at very least, unless they're a Category 3 peace officer and then they're in a jail somewhere. But peace officer would do that.
Yes, Commissioner, only because on page 6 under number 25-5, number 3, that refers back to the peace officer issuing the citation or arrest, and it's very clear.
If you want it, that's fine. That's completely fine with me. I don't mind at all.
So will anybody remember these?
I have it all written down, dude.
Oh, all right.
All right.
We're ready.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to amend and adopt Town of Pahrump Bill number 2025-01. I said amend, with the changes made.
Jabor seconds.
To read those changes, I believe. I believe we have to read them. Let me do them. If you're okay with it, Commissioner, I'm sorry. Is it okay to do them? Because I think they want it read in. You want it read in, Mr. DA? Thank you. Motion move to approve item 9 as amended by 1, striking 25.5A2, striking 25.5A2. Number 2, changing the definitions so that the board means either a town board or county board. Number 3, striking 25.5A3. And number 4, under 25.2 definitions, strike all of the positions after peace officer, leaving peace officer intact, and then pick back up at charged with enforcement through to the end of that sentence.
Commissioner Jabor, do you want to amend your second?
Yes, I
Don't
will
forget
amend, but
tarps.
before the tarps and also Commissioner Bayne, 25.5 under enforcement, please, number 2, that the person engaged in the prohibited conduct, that they must vacate immediately.
I agree with you. I struck that whole section. So it is, I would say, implied. It's just like any other crime, if that's acceptable to the commissioner. I just took that entire section out. So there's no question about any prohibition on the peace officers. And that is part of the motion.
Mr. DA, please, before I amend my second.
Yeah,
Mr. DA,
yeah.
but by striking that information, we know what we're talking about right now, but once it's cleaned up and that number 2 is eliminated, I don't think that it's very clear for a peace officer that they realize that they have the authority to state that the individual or individuals must vacate immediately.
I agree with you, Commissioner, because again, I think you need to have something that's very definitive as defining what the violation is.
May I amend my amendment? I'll amend my amendment to number 2, which was 25.5A. Nope, I'm sorry. Number 1. My number 1 that I had said 25.5A2. Instead of striking, we're going to remove 24 and 24 hours and replace with
1 hour?
at the end of
Must vacate immediately.
to remove that, and then to vacate the location, and then add the word immediately after it. So it will read, direct the person engaged in the prohibited conduct that they have to vacate the location immediately.
We can shorten it just by saying, direct the person engaged in the prohibited conduct that they must vacate the location immediately.
That they must, okay. As read by the DA, direct the person engaged in the prohibited conduct that they must vacate the location immediately. And that is my amended number 1. Thank you.
Did Tonopah get all that?
Yes, I will amend my second at this time, Jabor, for the
All right.
record.
Thank you, Commissioner. So is it clean enough for somebody to understand this? Kelly? Yeah? Hi there.
Perfect time.
Corey, I'm sorry. Good grief. Yeah. No. All right, so we have a motion and we have an amended second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Jabor is aye, but discussion, please, Chair. Did you open public comment on this? I can't remember.
Yes, we did.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jabor is aye.
Go ahead.
Jabor is aye.
Boscovich is gleefully aye. That motion carries 5-0.